Welcome to Communicating is Confidence podcast. My name is Tyrone Gilbert. You may know me from the Spirit of Confidence event. Do you know? Oh, yeah. You're that person who wants to be a better communicator. Well, you come to the right place. Join me and my co host Anthony Corbin for our weekly podcast as we're inviting those who are successful in their field of expertise to come out and to help us to navigate. How do you communicate with your employees? How do you communicate with your business partners? And the grand finale, how do you communicate with family? And that that one we all could take a extra class or two on. So, but it is possible. It is possible. So, thank you again, once again, Justin, for joining us. This is going to go by real quick, but we're going to have so much fun. Uh, Anthony told me about you. He said, you need to check this guy out. I said, wait a minute now. I'm cooking. He said, no, you need to check. You better stop cooking. You put that pepper on later on. You put that salt and pepper and garlic, celery on later. You got to. And once I checked you out, Justin, I saw what you're very, very distinct. You're passionate about communicating. And that's why we invited you on here. And the first episode, one of the episodes that I saw was with you and your sister collaborating, and I loved it. And Anthony told me, he said, "Man, you gotta see this. This is better than must see TV." I said, "Oh, okay." So, but the way you and your sister collaborated, and she's in school, and that was amazing. Uh, how is she doing? How's your sister doing?
Yeah, so she is a practicing doctor. So she finished school in May, passed all her licensing exams and tests, and she is a practicing optometrist here in the Kansas City area. So
Oh wow!
it's pretty amazing to kind of see her journey and to see her now in this leg of her life.
Right, right. And you are part. You're part of that success. You're part of that success because I was listening to the both of you. Both of I'm not supposed to say you guys because we're me and Anthony we're involved in Toastmasters. So you're not supposed to say you guys, but you definitely are part of her. You're part of the reason why she's where she's at. So uh, just hey, give yourself a pat on the back, brother. You know,
Yeah,
because
I was definitely a cheerleader. She did most of the heavy lifting, but I had my pom poms. I was going for it. She earned it, and I'm excited just to be like you said, just be a part of the journey.
right, and it's hard, but you know what? You doing something a lot of people in the podcast aren't able to do to get their family members on, and you were actually able to get your sister on, and you. I mean, I immediately forgot about everything else. I was just watching and listening, and I wanted to ask you, what's the one of the biggest common denominators when you're approaching someone, when you're about to meet someone and you're ready to communicate, what's your biggest denominator? What sets you apart from everybody else?
Yeah, I think for me, what kind of makes me unique is my energy. I live life with a certain level of joy, and so in all
Yeah.
my interactions, I lead with that. And so I think majority of people, they life beats them down, and they kind of carry that. And so, but for me, I carry joy, and so when I'm communicating with people and meeting people, and especially first impressions, I'm almost always smiling. I'm joking. Um, I'm engaged in a way where I'm communicating. Hey, I'm happy to be here. I'm even more happy to be communicating with you. And so I view every kind of interaction as a privilege.
Oh wow. Thank you. Thank you. It's a privilege. It's a privilege. Yes, it's an honor to be here with you. And that's how we should treat everyone we come in contact with, isn't it, Justin? We should honor and hey, that person is filled. I mean, God has put a special something in that other person as well. So thank you, Auntie. Hey, rock with your questions right now. Right
And thank you, Justin. And ladies and gentlemen, communicating is confidence. We're here to set apart from the rest. It's our responsibility to showcase visibility, our vision. We're here to help the voiceless be heard through connectivity and convergent thinking and advancing amazing, wonderful conversations about the reasons we differ on subjects in each of our parts with enthusiasm. In our world of expressing thought, the good and the difficult levels of you, understanding our words are powerful gifts. We're creating results, the value of understanding the world of communication and exchange, great dialogue. So Justin, we're here to just feed off of that energy you just spoke about. And we just want to show up, speak up, shine, and serve people in the spirit of love. And one of my fine-tuned thoughts when I seen you, when I saw your presentation was, I want to ask this man, I want to ask this gentleman, I want to ask this power voice. When you look back at where you are and you look back where you began, all of us, there's a child, kid, playfulness, and now you can connect the dots. You just gave us a little snippet of it, but if you can just expand on it, if you had to say, what is your competitive advantage in this space?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, honestly. And so for me, I think it's my commitment to my expertise. And so as I study podcasting and I'm watching podcasts and listening to podcasts, and myself, I've been podcasting for 7 years on and off. And so I started my first podcast in 2017. And so start, stop, do something with some gas. So I've been getting reps in. And so that's one thing that separates to me too, is like I've been getting reps in. Now, podcasting is becoming saturated, but it's not becoming saturated with good podcasts. There's only a select few good ones. There's a lot of podcasts. There's only a select few good ones. And so I think what gives me a competitive advantage is, man, I've been getting my reps in for a while and I'm committed to my expertise. And so my podcast is about leadership. And so what I talk about every single episode is leadership in some capacity. If I have a guest on, I'm by myself, I'm talking about leadership. And what I've seen and noticed is that those podcasts that have niches, that have expertise, they are more successful because of viewership. You can connect to an audience and they can trust your content, because some people just try to do what's trendy, and that is an option. But when you do what's trendy, sometimes if you don't have the personality, they don't connect with you. They just like this topic and then they don't come back. But for me, if you have expertise, they connect with you and they trust you and trust your content. And that's how you get a repeat audience and build a family or a fan base in a sense. And so that's kind of what gives me an advantage in podcasting right now. And I'm still learning. Just being honest, like this year was like one of the first years I've really like invested in my podcast. So before this year, I had been doing it like just off my phone at the crib whenever I get some time. It wasn't consistent. It was just like I knew this was something I could do and something that was like if I did it, I knew I could make something of it. But this year I was like, no, I'm gonna take this serious. So I invested in a videographer, I invested in a producer, I record at an actual podcast studio. And so I did some things that's on the back end that that it will pay dividends in the future.
Awesome. Awesome. That's good. I heard a whole bunch that you cannot even corral it. You can't hold it in a bottle. You can't shackle it. You can't tame it. I heard leadership. I heard commitment. I heard consistency. I heard trust. These are all the qualities of communicating and then sharing and connecting with the audience and the people that are being presented as your guests and people that are listening that need to hear your voice. So thank you for hearing that.
Thank you. That was amazing. When Auntie said bottle, it made me think about the videographer and everybody else around you. And Justin's in the bottle. Justin's a genie waiting to come out of the bottle. Cause you know what? You're the host. This is your podcast. And you're the genie. And I love what you mentioned about build a family. I like that. You build a family with the people on your podcast. A lot of I never even thought about that. I never thought in that way. build a build a family with the people you have on the podcast because they should be family. I mean, you you hear it all, So I'm just gonna jump to this one question that me and Anthony, we kind of been like, like two. I'm not gonna say teenage girls, but we've been kind of because we love that you're. What the question that I had? How did you become passionate about adding your own fashion line? It's because it look like you have some gear.
Yeah, so I got some merch on today. For me, I'm creating is when I feel close to the Lord, and so I'm constantly creating. And so when I came up with the podcast with the company, so I came up with my company first. So I have my company is the Hope Institute, and Hope stands for helping others pursue excellence. And so when I came up with the Hope Institute, came up with the lion as a kind of a logo, I wanted people to have an opportunity to share in to share in what I was building with my brand. And so before I did the podcast, I had merch. And so I was doing pop-up shops, just selling my merch, selling my long sleeve, my tanks. I got shorts. I got hats. I got all of it because I'm like, hey, I want to build a brand that I call them crew excellence. That's like what I call my people. You part of the brand, you part of crew excellence. And so I want to build a brand that other people are proud to represent, proud to support, and just kind of, and as a business model, just build multiple revenues of income. And so that's kind of how I came up with the merch. I talk about time. It's merchandise. I'm not a fashion designer, right? I'm not a fashion designer, but I got merch. And merch goes with the company, goes with the branding. So it's gonna have my colors, it's gonna have my logo. I just dropped some winter stuff. So I got hoodies, sweatshirts just came out. So yeah. And it's like I said, it's just another revenue stream for the business and another way for people to connect with what I'm building.
Thank you. And I'm gonna say this, Justin. I know your family is very proud of you right now because that's what you're talking about. It's like every other word I hear that comes from out of your mouth is excellence, hope. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you, because a lot of people definitely need hope these days. So I commend you. Me and Auntie commend you. Are you and your sister gonna do another podcast together? Oh, she was just a guest.
I had to pull her teeth to get her on that one. So we'll see that if I'll be able to get her back out. I've had some other family members on. So like my wife I did one with my wife earlier this year. She's also a doctor. So Dr. Louise Strickland came on. My mom came on. She's a published author. She's published over 30 books. And so I've had some opportunities to get my family on. Today, my 50th episode of the year is coming out today. and my wife is back on it. So that's gonna drop this afternoon on the day we're recording this. So yeah, I I love having them on. They love they kind of like coming on. My mom loved it. My wife and my sister, I'll be having them like, come on, man, I had to coach them a little bit. But once the lights come on, it's a great time. And so I want one thing I'm doing with my podcast that differently this time, because this is my maybe fourth iteration of podcasting where I come up with an idea and start it, is I have guests on, but I don't have a guest show. And so I'm doing it like that in a sense. Well, because I've done it where I have like a partner or things like that. And we lost steam. And so I don't want to lose steam this time. And so I'm bringing people on when they're free, when they're available. And when they're not, I'm still producing content. And so I will we'll see if I can get my sister back on. She act like she's shy. So we'll see if I can get her back on. But I have some guests come on right now. So right now what's really cool is people are hitting me up like, hey, can I get on the pod? Like, I'm in town for a week. Can we record an episode? So like, that's really cool. Cause it was where I'm like, hey, I'm calling people and trying to get them come on. Now people are hitting me up. And that's really cool. Cause to me, it's a testament to my videographer and the production.
Yeah.
I think people see it and be like, hey, this is serious. Like he's actually real about this. Let me go get on there. But also to my consistency. I think a lot of people see stuff once or twice and they think like, hey man, this probably ain't gonna last. But so for me, I've been doing this iteration for a whole year, which ain't that long of a time in the grand scheme of things. But for me and the way that I had done it in the past was a big kind of mark for me to kind of stay with it. I've had an episode come out every single week, say like maybe 2 weeks all year. So I'm excited about next year. Kind of built a foundation this year of an audience, of content, and ready to kind of move into the next year and build on that.
Awesome. That's what we talked about. We and Tyrone had a meeting last week and we talked about it, and I was letting him know that's what we're doing. You're getting momentum, and that's why you're here to spread that wealth with us, to help us, to encourage us, to mentor us. And one thing I keep hearing over and over is momentum. And I love when you say you're moving forward, and we're going to go live in 2025. That's our goal.
Okay.
And what I want to do is when I see the whole podcast, when I see you, when I hear you, when I feel you speaking through the heart, when you stopped and started, what was the driving force that allowed you to take another step?
Yeah, I think for me, I wanted to stop making excuses. And so in the past, I'd be like, man, I got this going on or that going on, and I'm working too much or things like that. And so I'm like, man, I'll get to it when I get to it. And I miss a week or drop it on a random day. I'm like, man, whenever I get to it, I get to it. But part of the issue was like I was doing everything. Had to shoot it. I had to edit it. I had to do the thumbnail. I had to, and do the marketing. But now with me outsourcing a lot of that stuff, it allows me to just do what I like to do, which is talk on camera. And so I get to show up, mics are set up, lights are set up, cameras are set up. I do my thing and I go home. Then I get an email. I'm like, hey, here's the post edit. Here's the light. And so it's allowed me to be like, all right, I can just do what I'm good at and allow other people to do what they're good at. And that has given me the ability to stay consistent. Because if I had to do all the editing and stuff, I would fell off. Life picked up, stuff changed. I wouldn't have been able to be consistent. But because I've outsourced some of those things, I'm able to be a lot more consistent.
Oh wow. They have 8 minutes left.
It's not to me. I like that.
Right. We only have 8 minutes left. It's gonna fly by. So, Justin, what I get from you is like generation. That's what I feel. From when I asked, that's why I asked about your sister, your family. because I feel that generation that was before you. I could feel it, and I know you want to provide for the next generation. So uh, the last question I have is, uh, what kind of mark would you like to leave for your family? Um,
That's a great question. I think for me, I just want to show them that things are possible. Uh, that might be different than what you've seen before. And so, like my sister's a doctor. She's the first doctor in my family. My wife's a doctor. She's the first doctor in her family. Uh, I, and so like for me, it's like I want to leave a legacy of chasing greatness. My parents, my grandparents, they did an amazing job stabilizing us, raising us with wonderful morals, gave us an amazing foundation. And I just want to build on that. So I just want to show like, hey, you don't have to be tied to a certain job. You don't have to be tied to a certain location. You don't have to be tied to a certain way of life. If you want something different, if you want something more, that is out there, that is available. And it takes a little bit of work, a lot of prayer, and a whole lot of grace. But you can do something different than you've seen before. And so like for me, podcasting, and I do leadership development. I wrote a book. Like these are things that I've done that I want to build on because there's a goal I have. And so like for me and my wife, we talk about all the time, we want to be time and location free, where we can live wherever, work wherever, do whatever. And we can, and we want to leave that legacy to where you can see like, man, we spent a month in Phoenix, we spent a month in Dubai, we do a month in Kenya, and but we're effective and we're enjoying all that God has created. That's kind of my biggest motivation right now is like, God made this big old world. I want to see it. Like, I want to see it. I want to experience it. And I don't want work or money to be the reason why I don't. And so that's kind of the legacy I want to leave, as a legacy of like, man, what's out there? Go get it. Go see it. Go chase it. Because my thing I always says like, I can always come back and be regular. Like if this don't work, I can always do what the average American does. I can always do what most people do. And so I'm chasing something different, and so I'm okay with failing, but I think I'm almost certain we're gonna be successful.
Wow. You were born, Rick. That's a powerful, powerful response to that. And I have one of my quotes I like to say: the frequency to elevate high energy, passion, and value is faith. And that's where we see your hope message coming through to us and turning your adversities into advantages. How can we support you, Justin? Because you definitely are supporting us. You're supporting the community. If there's anything we can do, we definitely want to know.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me right now, subscribing to the pod, sharing it when it pop up on your feed, is definitely helps. In the new year, I'm dropping like a community. So what you guys ever heard like a Patreon?
Patreon.
So no, okay. So don't worry about it. I'm so on my website, I am doing like a subscription based group where people can join it, $5-10 a month, get the extra content, get leadership development, and be part of a community that's chasing excellence together. So that'll be out the top of the year, $5-10 a month. What it costs to go to Chick-fil-A once. You know what I'm saying? Come support your boy. Be part of crew excellence for real.
Right.
And that'll be huge because that's the type of support that is life changing.
Thank you for that awesome question, Anthony. Thank you for that awesome answer, Justin.
And buy some merch. You can always buy some merch. Get on the site, buy some merch.
Well, we're planning to have a event the spring of 2025. We're going to have speakers. We're going to have fashion show, and we also going to have some gamers. But it's not going to be violent. It's going to be non-violent gamers. So, and the thing about it, I mean, we're feeling your vibration right now, and that's what's needed. So I'm not gonna. We don't want to halt you or stall you from because this is your day, and I'm gonna end it off in prayer. You heard of Mac Properties? Where I live at, they have small businesses, black small businesses come every summer. So
And where?
so I'm in Midtown Kansas City. Mac, just look up Mac Communities. So I'm gonna lead off with a prayer. This has been I don't want to get off this boat.
Thank you.
I want to stay on this boat, but we all have destinations we need to go. But Lord, thank you for a voyage ride with Justin and this gentleman. The best is yet to come to him. The best is yet to come. 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 And that's where he's headed. Only by being the communicator you want him to be. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you. You are a fantastic communicator. I love what
Appreciate you fellas having me on. It's been an honor. And I thank you for giving me some of your time and lending an ear. And just let me come hang out with y'all.
Oh, shit, you gonna hang out with you. We're gonna hang out.
I look forward to it.
But like you said earlier, support your boy.
Yeah, yeah, we in there. We in there. So yeah, I've been looking forward to see a lot more of you guys' content. Yes, and just stay with it, stay consistent. Y'all got something that everybody need to hear.
Right.
Appreciate it.
I love what Anthony said, and we've been talking about that. We're going live in 25. We want you to join us because we're gonna get everyone that we've had a podcast with to join in, and we're gonna be live. So we're gonna have it all said and done, and we want you to be a part of it.
That sounds good. That sounds dope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, you have a blessed, if we don't talk from now to Christmas, have a joyful holiday with you and your family.
Okay, sounds good. Same for you all, fellas. Enjoy your family. Enjoy some time off. You know what I mean? Yes.
Be better.
And appreciate it.